All right, so welcome to another edition of Artifact Creator Challenges. It's been a wild ride of 2 years of making different competitions for our community. We do these challenges for people to, explore new things and genres, industries, software, and learn and then do really dope stuff. We're lucky enough to have one of the most incredible creative communities.
What are the dunks? Let's talk about it first. The Artifact X Nike Dunk Genesis is an infusion of the classic dunk design with futuristic innovation. These modular sneakers allow you to personalize your dunks through various parts, including the heel, tongue, and eyelets. We provided 3D files of the dunk itself and each of the attachments and asked you guys to create a concept design of the mods and take these sneakers to another level.
People are going to truly be able to customize the shoes and create amazing stuff. And it doesn't have to be something that it has the same colors over it, whatever. Like, you can really do anything that you want for it and put your personality to it. I think it's really dope. And this challenge that we just made show the potential to it.
Prizes include 1 pair of dunks for 3rd place, 2 pairs of dunks for 2nd place, and 1st place gets 3 dunks, including a very limited edition colorway known as Neko Camo.
So now this jury is going to go over the 15 most voted entries, and they're going to decide the 3 winners. The jury is formed by 3 founders, Ben, Chris, and Z, and then we have a very special invitation with Joseph Conti. Is a Nike legend.
Thanks for including me. I'm a full-time Nike employee and work on a lot of Nike inline products, lifestyle stuff, signature athlete like LeBron shoes, some Devin Booker stuff. And I had the privilege of helping out with a bunch of materials on the Artifact stuff. So first started off with the Air Force Ones, some of the materials on all these Artifact dunks. So yeah, love working with this team and happy to just be included.
Joseph was an instrumental part of the dunk shoes, so we thought it's only right to bring him in here.
And also, as you listen from his introduction, he's legit as fuck. He's very legit.
We'd like to first thank everyone for sending the submissions. We've had hundreds of entrants, and we really appreciate everyone submitting work and seeing people's styles and designs evolve.
It was very, very important challenge, and we had high expectations as always, and you really blew them away. When we started Artifact, we started to modify some Nike with like some crazy augmentation and bringing all we love from games, mostly in 3D. But now, with what we did with the dunk and the mods and giving that to the community with like not only people who are doing 3D art, but using 3D printers.
Very interesting to see some of the same creators who went with us on our whole journey become product designers, which is unexpected. Very blown away because it's one thing to create something 3D on the computer screen and render it, but it's another thing to really 3D print and figure out the measurements, the mechanics on how it would fit onto the shoe. So this is like very impressive to me to see 3D to physical.
The first design we have is Owen Laiho, the ExoSkeleton Mod. I really like this design. It reminds me of the Bionics.
Oh, wait, Z, you're talking about Bionicle, right?
Bionicle, yeah.
Okay.
Bioshock is a great game, though. But...
Yes.
I like the kind of the detail that goes around the outsole that kind of meshes it together, but it's very well suited to the Void colorway, so I'm happy it's put on this one. It's kind of chained it up.
It makes the shoe look dangerous. It's almost like a dog that has its mouth covered. Like if you're about to touch a shoe, it's gonna bite you. So it looks like it's being held back. It looks very dangerous. Like it looks like it's moving to me.
I imagine it like when you have like bigger pants, and a lot of time we talk about like styling, like a toe down, so like the pants covering the shoe, and you look down and you see this like masked thing right on the tip is pretty cool. And yeah, I like the proportions that it covers. I feel like a lot of the other mods that I've seen out there are really like chunky, hanging off the back or off the tongue, and I think this one's pretty cool how it gives a new design language to that toe tip.
Next we have Sea Searcher with the Brckmod. To me, this design feels like he's added another element of customization.
Especially, I really like the presentation. It looks like a real product and a real thing people would share. Super good entry, and it's a simple idea, but sometimes you're the only one thinking about it, and also how you executed it is really good. So well done.
It definitely brings in a potential of a whole new community of Lego builders into this world. And people are forgetting that Legos also have electronics.
I think this one's super cool too. I'm not sure if this was the intent, but one thing that I noticed is that the original Dunk is obviously, from, I believe, the 80s, sometime like pretty old, and Legos are also from there. So I think it's interesting to take two super, classic retro things from that time, but then bring them together in this modern way. So
That's a really cool reference, Joseph. You're coming through with the facts.
what is this?
Next, we have Ropsy Banks with the Holo Fan 3D mod. This one's crazy. He's taken one of those fans that spin really quick, and you can basically create holograms, and he's attached it onto the shoe. We've always been big on embedding tech into our shoes, so seeing submissions like this is very amazing.
It's exactly the type of stuff we love and we always wanted to do, and then it's even better to see the community making it and doing it in a really tasteful way. And I like the style, it's super cyberpunk. What's cool is that it looks like cool on its own, and you can also immediately put this in a game, it's gonna fit the game.
I have experience with working with these fans. So yes, it looks really cool, but as a display item, and I'll tell you why. To me, the wearability of this is going to be very hard, especially if the fan spinning it catches onto your pant legs. Because for my selection, I want to see something that you can wear as well. Kudos to you for this though, because the problem I had to figure out is how to wire a battery to make it work. And you clearly figured that out. I'm assuming that's what that case is for in the back, but the way it was designed to hold the battery pack in is very cool. It fits the cyberpunk aesthetic.
Yeah, this one's super cool to me. I feel like when we think of mods and all the things we've talked about before, just to me, I've never thought to go somewhere like this. Me personally, we make shoes every day that have to be like perfectly comfortable and pass all the everything. So it's super refreshing and inspiring to see something that's just like conceptual runway. So big thumbs up for me on this one.
Next, we have Shabobo.
I think it could open a lot of possibilities. It's good to see an aesthetic that's not necessarily like fully 3D printed future, but more organic.
Yeah, this one is really cool. I love plants and flowers. I almost would like to see more flowers incorporated somehow. Yeah, because if you're taking it this far already, go just push it a little bit more.
I like how it attaches. I like that string or wire. I think seeing it in gray makes me wonder like which colorway that you would want to modify this to. And I think, yeah, a little bit of like cohesion could really help. So
next we have Don Jordan with the Gundam mod. I'm a huge fan of the Gundam aesthetic, and I feel like he's captured it super well with the swoosh. I like seeing the kind of brief and the design inspiration and kind of how he's broken it down from concept to physical.
I was expecting something like this. In any case, I would have been disappointed if no one was doing something like that. Again, really great work on the swoosh and blade.
This one was so well done. It almost looks like we released.
Oh, that's very pretentious.
Yeah.
To say.
Yeah.
It's not so good. I thought it was us.
I also like it though because it almost looks like.
And also, when he's saying "we," it's the royal "we," right? It's him. It's not an artifact. It's him.
Yeah, I love Gunpla. Like, I love Gundam Wing. I love that whole world. I love the community. It's the perfect community to show this to because they love modifying. They modify everything.
Yeah, I think it's really good storytelling. I really appreciate the renders and like illustrating of the character and all those mods. One thing I would have liked to see is on the Gundam Dunk, the SB one already, they took the swoosh and they did it out of that design language. I think it could have been cool if you could explore also maybe some of the other parts in a little bit more depth in that language, like more in the tongue mod or more in the heel mod or something like that. I think could kick it up a notch.
Moving on, we have Memory.
Oh no, he did that.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, it's crazy, man.
Very smart. Super cool.
Yo, very cool.
I love the design he did for the casing as well. I think it's like super clean.
And it's smart as well because you don't need the screen. It's mirrors and light, right?
Yes. Really good use of the mods, like the placement, like the tongue is where we have the mod and it fits right there, and then wearing it with pants or shorts, like a good place to flex. I think it's really smart.
I've seen a lot of these illusions at activations and galleries and stuff, but the idea to put it on the shoe, I've never thought once about it, but it makes sense. Like, this is a really cool thing. I almost would have loved to see this on the Voids. Because the name, the
Voids,
black, this would have been better to me on the Void. But again, this is amazing. The thought, the process, very, 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 very well done.
Moving on, we have Ginger Stellar Beast. I think the concept is pretty crazy. I think the colors are a bit too kind of like hyper poppy for me, but I do really like the design.
I think it's great because as well, not everyone's got access to 3D printer and all of that. And as an illustrator, not only did really good illustration and super well presented graphic design, it looks like, almost an actual, product page. What's strange that it looks like he's got free skirts. Like weird stuff.
Very well done. It looks like video game concept art. I come from the Dota 2 workshop, and this is exactly the kind of concepts that we spit out to create cosmetics for Dota 2. So it reminds me of like a skin or a set for a game.
Next, we have Mr. AAAB. He completely created his own modding area, unlike kind of the designated things that we put on, which I think is super smart, and it's very outside the box. No one else has, I think, done a placement like this, and it reminds me a bit of the croc giblets.
He created a new canvas area where people can express themselves, and he called it Creator Mod. So it's made for like more people to participate, I guess. Maybe he could have something that looks cooler for the tongue mod.
It's crazy because like I can see people 3D printing whole swooshes or blades and putting connection points in the back, and you can even get further customability with it.
Yeah, I like it's kind of meta in the sense that you make a mod that then you can add more mods to, which is kind of interesting. And also just from like a Nike standpoint, it kind of reminds me of the Metcon 9 that's out on the market now that has this mesh with things pushed through it.
Next, we have Cooch with Emojio. Design-wise, it feels very strong, and I really like that it's mechanized. Like you have a little button that you press and you have different emojis. I would have liked to see something different instead of the emojis on the wheel. I feel like the emojis feel like outdated with a design like this, but in terms of the concept, having a kind of spinner or like a roulette.
The casino tank.
Nice.
No, as you said, I mean, I love emojis. I think it's a good idea to anytime you use emojis, it's a good idea in a sense. But it's true, like the design, it works well. Like it looks like a real thing.
What I like about it at first glance is it looks like it's 3D printable. All the colored elements on it looks like you could just 3D print it with a bunch of colors and you would get exactly what it looks like, which is this.
There's something that's really nice that's like kind of analog about this in the sense that it's like very tactile, but it feels like a little bit kind of like an old toy. And I think there's something about our original Dunk it's like that as well.
This one I thought was very cool. I could see girls wearing this or wanting to have these mods. I really like that it's either glow in the dark or lights up. I think this specific mod would look really cool on the Ghost. The tongue mod is my favorite part. I think the mod on the heel feels a bit rushed.
I can see, some people wearing that at some parties or at school and stuff. It's it's great.
Sailor Moon cosplay show.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I thought too. I thought it looks like
Sailor Moon. Yeah, so great start, great pick of material and base, but it needs to be refined now.
The fact that you could 3D print a part and just stick lights in it and it will illuminate the plastic is amazing. I can see a lot of people taking this concept and just doing a lot more with it now, which is awesome. And especially like in the rave community, I see these going really hard at some music festival.
Imagine at the rave party, they'll be, dude, I lost my heart. Where is my
I would applaud you for actually printing the parts and putting the lights in there. I think that's pretty cool with the transparencies. Another one I think could be cool with the void colorway, especially with like the black and purple pink to kind of enhance that design language.
Next we have Jess Wiseman. This to me was insane. When I saw this, I couldn't believe it. It resembles early Artifact days. Jess did multiple renders and animated versions. You sound like you're for a radio, Benoit. Your mic.
Really?
Fix your microphone. Yes, fix it real quick.
Yeah, really bad.
Better?
No, it's bad again.
I don't know. Is it that bad?
You sound like a robot.
Yeah, you sound like a robot.
It's worth it for Ben to reboot, right, Franco? Because the mic, you can't do anything with that. You can't fix it.
You can add subtitles.
So.
Yeah, became robot. Like,
oh wait.
Well, you're back now.
Proper augmentation in cyberpunk games and exoskeletons and all the stuff we love, and extremely well executed, I think, on the shape, because it really looks like a lot of work has been done, but I love the idea. Point with the creator. This is something ready to go in the video game.
When I first saw this, I even went into Jess's Instagram, very talented 3D artist, by the way. The Flaws is the beginning of Artifact, where we'd always make these really complicated designs that are very hard to make. That's what makes this so Artifact. It's like, hey Z, how are we gonna make this physically bend? Like we don't know. Like we're gonna figure it out, but it's really hard to make this. But that's Artifact. So well done on nailing the Artifact DNA.
You know, we made it so that you can attach anything. So you can attach 3D printed things. Other people did, okay, I'm gonna attach like plasticky things. And this is someone who's pushing it like very, very far in this type of high-tech jewelry.
It almost reminds me of like almost like a HR Geiger like spinal cord. It's super cool and it's inviting and it makes me like want more and want to learn more about it. So I think that's always a good thing.
This design I think's pretty cool. It reminds me of just like medieval armor plates. I think it's definitely creative, and I feel like with silver on the Genesis it would look really crazy.
I'm not a fan of the colorway, to be honest with you, especially on the blade. Like you did it dirty with that yellow and red outline, honestly, man. but it's really, really cool.
When I looked at this, it reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like
the blue eyes. Sure.
Yes, yep. Yeah. Because of that, I do kind of like the colorway, but only because I'm looking at it through a cosplay lens. This is something I kind of expect. Yeah, I expect to see this at an anime convention or Comic-Con. I like the idea of connecting the two mods together.
I really like the idea that it can be hard and flexible by moving within its own shell at the same time.
The intent is to make it in some type of foam
or leather, because I thought it was
that would be
Yeah, it looks like that's why it gave off the cosplay look to me. Because the shoe on the right, you see the stitches. It looks like there's stitches.
It's a very ambitious mod to make. It's definitely, it takes a long time to print it, and the way how it's been printed into sections to give it that kind of modular vibe when you're walking, I think it all fits together really well. And I really wanted to see a mod that goes over the top and crazy, and I think this one does a real good.
This is the shoe that I was like, this is the Zaptio mod.
I was rocking this.
It screams everything about you. I wouldn't be surprised if you're wearing this next time I see you.
This one, me again, I really like it because it feels like parasites, attached on the shoe and tries, to it becomes its own entity. To me, it tells the story. Like you can add something that's completely changing the style of the shoe and bringing it into another universe.
One thing I do like is this new theme of really focusing on what it looks like when you're looking top down. Because I feel like, because that's a mistake I do all the time when designing shoes. I always forget what I want to see top down.
I like this one a lot. And I think how we talked about some of the other ones that like when you see it in just a sketch, you would love to see it in 3D. To me, this one, when you see the actual 3D printed part, it's a complete like game changer and in the best possible way. In the renderings, it looks like cool, but it still looks a bit conceptual. But then when you see it 3D printed with the metal parts and how it actually goes on the shoe and how the finish of the 3D print matches the swoosh, everything about it and like the flexibility and moving it in hand, I think it takes it from like pretty cool to awesome.
So next we have Kane with the power up. Kane has been crazy and submitted so many amazing mods and experimentation. We really appreciate his dedication to creating mods and content. I think this one is a very clean and safe design. I love that it glows in the dark.
No, me overall, so again, like special mention to Kane because he inspired a lot of people to do 3D printed and showing every day a different mod he was concepting and then printing. So for that, I think it's been really amazing. This specific mod, I think is great. Again, like great to do the glow in the dark homage.
Really unique idea. I watched Kane go through this journey, which I'm very impressed by. It was pretty fast too, like because I
every day,
Kane,
man.
Yeah. I follow Kane when he's making a bunch of content on TikTok, and all of a sudden I'm seeing 3D printed parts. Like this kid is unbelievable.
We have Mvzi. What I like about this one is out of the other submissions, he actually took the time to paint the design so it doesn't look like a uni print 3D print. It looks very medieval, very kind of Doom vibe. Big fan of the design. I actually want one of these.
It does remind me of this manga I read called Berserk. I don't know why. It just reminds me of Berserk. This goes more onto the territory of painting 3D printed parts, which I would have loved to see too, because I feel like that's going to be really big in the community once this starts to get really popular. Very unique way of using a transparent material to shine light through it.
Really cool materiality, especially printing in red transparent and then painting part of it. We haven't seen that before. before.
So these are some of the honorable mentions we have. Very playful and fun design. I think it's pretty complex given the vial placement.
This one really cool. It kind of gives me like a Borderlands vibe as well. I love everything about this. I love the carabiner. I'm a rock climber.
Big honorable mention to Gain in general, and this one is sick. It works really well. How the bone structure is, shaping around the swoosh. It works super well. So I really love this one. Big congrats to Kane for the many entries it is, and this one is my favorite.
This one's pretty wild, yeah. I like how they chose the tongue and the heel, like the areas where we designated mods or where it was possible to add to, and then they took kind of like creative license, super playful, fun, weird.
It looks like a Pixar collab with Monsters Incorporated.
We have honorable mention for relics. This is a good concept. I think actually printing this, it wouldn't work. Your shoe would just flop out. But I think for creativity, it's a very interesting take on how you can use mods and maybe in the future actually add on different attachments on the outsole. So firstly, we'd like to thank everyone who participated in this challenge. This challenge was very special to us because it's our first silhouette and modding was a big part of it. We've reviewed all these submissions. It was very hard picking the winners, but we've come to a consensus with the team. In third place, we have Jess Wiseman, all the different components telling the story and showing off the product.
I think it's opening the doors to think of beyond 3D printing, but really as like high-end tech jewelry for shoes.
Runner-up in second place, we have Rupsy Banks.
When I look at it, it doesn't even look 3D printed to me. It looks like a final product.
The materiality of it as a material designer, just like those finishes and the metal finishes and how that all comes together and just the flexibility of the material, putting it in there, I think really nailed the brief.
So in first place, we have Memory with the Infinity Portal. The whole design, the idea, the concept was very strong and very creative, and it fits perfectly, and he took it all the way to the final product.
We always love illusions and technology, so it works perfectly. So congrats on this one, very deserved.
This one blew my mind. I love things that shatter my reality of things, and that's what Artifact was always about. It's breaking people's realities.
There's ways to talk about all like the concept behind it and all that type of stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just like, whoa, that's super cool. And I think to me, that was what put it over the top, is just like that wow factor.
Oh no, he did that.
Yeah.
Oh,
man, yeah, it's crazy, man.
Very smart. Super cool.
Very cool.